Welcome back, Double Teamed fam. How are we doing? I've got back problems right now. Hold on.
And I'm back from Italy.
Yay.
Yay. Even though I go back in like 2.5 weeks.
Which I am very excited for you to go back because I feel for you. We're both in long distance relationships right now, which I think is hilarious. But the fact that your relationship is
a 14-hour plane ride.
Countries away. I mean, a whole fucking ocean. Like
6,000 miles.
Exactly. I don't like that. I'm sorry. Like, I need my boyfriend next to me. Like, I need air sometimes. And even just being away from him for like 4 days is a lot for me.
I will say this, and I don't know how many of you have done long distance relationships before. I mean, it's definitely a lot of work, but when you are literally a 14-hour flight away from your partner, like, I think that in itself can be kind of one of like the biggest testaments to like your commitment to each other.
I was gonna say my anxious attachment could never.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm not anxiously attached. I know of. I can be disorganized sometimes, though. I can. But anyways, what I was going to say was, like, I think it's, like, the biggest, like, you know, show of commitment when you're willing to, like, put in the effort because, like, on top of that, like, we're monogamous. So, like, you know, I haven't seen him. I returned, like 2.5 weeks ago. And I see him in another 2.5 weeks. So that's basically 5 weeks that I go without sex, my vibrator, and my dildo from Peep Show Toys. Those Salinas really freaking work, guys.
I think it's
Solina, sorry.
Whatever.
Those Solina dildos really freaking work, guys.
And just to plug them, go to peepshowtoys.com and use code DTFAM for 10% off.
No, but really, that's what I've been using. I call my Solina dildo my temporary boyfriend while I'm away from my actual boyfriend.
Which one? What size do you use?
I use the XL. Also, sorry guys, this was not supposed to turn into an ad, but I mean it when I say like that's what I've been using.
But you know what? Fuck it. We love Peep Show and I love promoting them. So I'm happy to give them this free airtime.
Yes, true. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that like I've had to get really good at and I mean there's a lot to dive in here with the whole long distance relationship thing. So let me get a little bit organized in my thoughts here. But yes, masturbation has been my saving grace. But anyways, we're 14 hours apart. He's 9 hours ahead of me. There is an end in sight, and that's the one thing that I think should always be important when you are doing long distance, is that there should be an end in sight.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, like he's only got a little bit over a year left in Italy, so he's not there forever. You know, if it was like, you know, had I met someone that like lived, you know, in a different country full time forever and ever, then I maybe would have looked at that commitment a little bit differently. I don't know. But, or maybe not with him, just because like, you know, just the relationship that we have, it is really healthy and I'm very, very happy. So I'm happy to make the sacrifice of a long distance relationship, and like, it is very much a choice. And we definitely have our things that make it work. But I guess before I even dive into all the long distance relationship stuff, let me tell you a little bit how Italy went.
Let's hear it.
I'd never been to Italy prior to this trip. And
I still haven't gone, and I really want to visit.
It's funny because I feel like it was one that was always on my list, and I always saw like so many people like traveling to Italy, having weddings in Italy, like Italy. Like I saw it everywhere. And I was always like, oh, I really want to go to Italy. So lo and behold, the universe was like, here.
Oh, thank God. Okay, also, sorry. There's a helicopter going around, and I hope you didn't hear the buzzing, but I think it stopped. Keep going.
That was some pretty intense buzzing from the helicopter. But anyways, Italy was beautiful. We were on the island of Sicily.
Sicilia,
yeah. And it's interesting. I don't know if any of you have ever been to Italy. And this can sometimes feel this way across many European countries, but none have been as slow as Italy. People there are just on no fucking time. You set an appointment and it's literally like...
Did you set an appointment somewhere?
No, but I just remember like one time, for example, like he was trying to... he has like an old beater that he drives there. He's got like his like normal car, and then he's got like an old beater that he drives there, and that one like needed to go to the repair shop for something, and the guy was like, I'll be there at like 8:30 or something like that. 8:30 a.m. rolls around. Don't hear a thing from the guy. Call him a little bit later. He was like, oh yeah, I'll be there in like at noon, you know. And but it was the same, and it wasn't just him. His landlord was like, when something happened with the AC, and his landlord was like, I'll be there at 6 p.m. rolls around. You know what? I think tomorrow at like 8 a.m. works better. And you know, it's just like they are just on no fucking time. And you go to a restaurant and like your waiter takes your food, or takes your order, brings your food. Like you don't see them
for like 5 hours
ever again.
Well, I mean, that's like, yeah. Peace.
Like it's just the pace is so different. And on one hand, I found it kind of inspiring because like in America, everything is so fucking capitalism, like just as much productivity, ads, like exactly, like so much like hustle culture and consumption and, you know, maximization of profits and maximization of time and effort and but yeah, it's so on one hand, like it was inspiring to see like they don't give a fuck about any of that. They will do shit when they want to do shit. If you want to go to a restaurant at 8 p.m. to get dinner, good fucking luck. Or no, actually, let me say 6 p.m. Around 8 p.m. is when some of them may start serving dinner. I can't tell you how many times we'd go to a place and it would be like 6:30, 7 p.m. and you show up, they're open,
but ain't nobody there.
Nobody's putting in an ounce of effort towards anything. And I like literally you cannot find food to eat at 7 p.m.
Big yikes.
8 p.m.
We eat pretty early too.
Yeah, there they eat a lot later. Like literally dinner's at like 9:30 p.m.
I mean, that's how it was in Argentina.
Yeah,
it was
no,
like,
it's true.
Everyone, let's go to dinner at 10 p.m. It's like, what?
Excuse me, that's bedtime for some of us.
Yeah.
And like, and meals there are also like, you know, here in the U.S., like you sit down, you order a drink, you get your appetizer, you get your dinner. It's all served within 5 minutes.
You know what I hate about American, like
What?
American restaurants? Would you like a drink? Here's the drink menu. Can I get you started with something to drink? Do you want drinks? Here's our alcohol menu. Would you like a beverage? Like, I said water the first fucking time, you bitch. And I don't want fucking alcohol. I don't drink.
We don't drink.
Would you like to try to upsell me a margarita for the 5th fucking time? Like, sorry. I'm just really passionate about that.
Well, no, it's true. I don't drink. Actually, I will say, tangent. Sorry. I don't drink a lot because I hardly drink because I have sensitive kidneys. Cami has sensitive kidneys too. If I drink alcohol here, the next day my kidneys are probably going to be sore and hurting and throbbing in pain. There, I could drink an entire bottle of wine and not feel a thing. So I don't know what it is that's different about the wine and the alcohol there, but like I had no issues drinking there. On top of that, here I eat a plate of pasta. The next day I look like I'm 3 months pregnant from bloating. There, I ate pizza and pasta on the regular and looked skinnier than I probably have in months. I don't know what it is. Their carbs are different. Their food is different. It's better.
Not as processed.
It's not as processed. That's right. And then my hair, I went to get a haircut today and she was like, your hair looks so healthy. And I was like,
what is it?
Italian water.
Bottle that shit and bring it back.
Because they don't have as much shit in their water. So like she's like, it's probably the water quality there is so much healthier for your hair.
I'm gonna tell my boyfriend we need to move to Italy.
Anyway,
for the sake of my hair.
So things are very different there. It's a beautiful country. However, I will say this, like there are some conveniences in America that you just will not find in Italy.
I'd rather take healthy hair over iced coffee. Go on.
I was going to say an iced coffee is not going to be found anywhere in Italy.
No, you ask for a glass of ice and a little side cup of milk, and you take that
yeah, you have to doctor your own like
you're about to become your own barista, but it's gonna be okay because your hair is healthy. Okay,
but I'm not kidding when I say like you order a coffee there and it's literally a shot this big.
Oh, yeah. They're tiny.
You cannot find a latte to save your life. But the coffee is really good. You also cannot find a Starbucks to save your life. At least not in Sicily. I don't know. Maybe if you go to like frickin' Rome or something, you could find it there, but you're not going to find it in Sicily. Moral of the story, there are pros and cons to both. You know, like, sure, there are some things there that are better than they are here, and then there are things here that are better than they are there. Like I said, it was a little inspiring to see how, like, slow they lived life and how, like, I don't know, it's just, the culture's just very different. Also, which I found was really interesting, people there, like live as families, like, with their parents until, like, 26. Like, people don't leave their parents' house. Like, it's very much a family unit, like, way into their 20s.
Nikki, it's the same in Argentina. You act like this is a surprise.
Well, no, but I didn't know that that's what it was like. Yeah. Anyways, and Cami, I mean, you have to remember, like, we are so far removed from Argentina that, like, I forget some of these things.
I know, but I just remember, like, our cousins lived with their parents for quite some time. Our cousin still lives with our aunt.
Yeah. Life is just lived very differently there. But it's, like I said, beautiful place. The water's gorgeous. So first weekend, he had a hockey tournament. We went to the hockey tournament. It was in this, like, little small town out in the middle of nowhere. It was actually really fun. We had a great time. One of my really good friends who's also in Italy came and surprised me there. So we all hung out over the weekend. I had a blast. Loved it. Second weekend, we went to Taormina, which is, I think, where they filmed White Lotus. Beautiful little town. Very, like, Italian picturesque. We had, like, the best pizza I've literally ever had in my life.
Wait, season 1 or season 2?
Season 2.
These gays.
Yes, that one.
They're trying to kill me.
Yeah, that one.
Bake.
Sorry. Cool. Anyways, weekend 3, we went to Sheffield. And then, like, during the weeks, like, we were just, like, very much just at home doing domesticated life shit. I was editing the pod. He would go to work. He'd come home, you know, and, like, we'd watch TV or he'd play video games while I read my books. We would, like, you know, cook dinner together. I would do the dishes. I would do the laundry. I was very much in wife mode, not gonna lie. So my friend and I would get texts from Niki, and she'd be like, I'm making scrambled eggs for my boyfriend for the first time. Pray for me. And we're like, okay, I know how to make scrambled eggs. And that's not even what I said.
Pretty sure it was.
No, it was something else I was making. I was making pancakes. I hadn't made pancakes in a long time, okay?
I just think when it comes to your culinary
lack of skills, yes.
That's one way to say it. I feel like you have the knowledge and abilities to do more. You have just let yourself get insecure about it through time.
Well, and I was also, like, pretty spoiled because, like, in my first marriage, he was the cook. And he was a great cook, so I never had to cook. So I just, you know, that was 10 years of my life where I didn't really have to put a whole lot of effort. I will say, though, I learned how to make a mean chicken tikka masala, but that's because my ex taught me. So I learned how to make it from him. You know, in the 3 years we've been divorced, I don't remember much. But I think I could recreate that recipe if I really wanted to. But anyways, I had a really great time in Italy. I loved it. I feel so at peace with him, and, like, it was really easy to live with him too. Like, I think that's, like, one of the things that was most affirming, because keep in mind, like, when I went to visit him, we had only been dating, like, 2 months, and that 2 months was, like, majority, like, long distance, like, haven't seen each other.
It was all long distance.
It was all long, yeah, except for the time we spent together in Belgium where we met. Like, the rest of it was, like, via FaceTime. And so I was curious. I'm like, what is it going to be like when we're, like, together every day, like, at, you know, under the same roof, you know, all of that. Like, what is that going to look like? Is it going to be different? Are we going to argue? Blah, 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 blah. And I think I was, like, really, I had a good feeling about it, which is why I obviously went through with it. But, like, I also was pleasantly surprised to see that we did really well. We handled conflict without ever really, like, yelling or getting like really mad or like, you know, our egos coming out and us getting super defensive with each other. Like everything was always just like a mature conversation where we heard each other and listened and, you know, took accountability and all those things. Like, you know, we held space for each other in like a really like healthy and affirming way. So like that was all really great. Our habits are like very similar. We both like to like, you know, live healthy lives, all of that. You know, we like, he watched Queen Charlotte with me, which I thought was like the cutest thing, because I don't know how many men would really be willing to watch a chick show that is a period drama, you know, and he loved it. And he saw me crying on the last episode and just held me and all of that. I watched anime with him and loved that, you know, so it's like, it went really, really well. And I think it just solidified a lot of things for us in our relationship. And, you know, and I think one of the biggest things that like is that it showed me, especially as we go into this like next year of like continued long distance, is to go from every day you're like hugging this person and near this person, and you know, we had sex probably like minimum once a day, usually 3 times a day, and or at least like 2 to 3 times a day, and it was phenomenal, and we could not stay off of each other, and it was a great time. And I get it that is like very much, you know, what can happen at the beginning of a relationship, but I have not experienced it to that level with anyone before, and so that was really great to see. But to go from like happy, peaceful, amazing sex to right back home, touch starved, not, you know, seeing them on a regular basis, like, you know, now you're back to only like communicating via phone, like to go back and forth from the two is kind of a mind fuck for my body. And I think that's going to take some adjustment, and I'm going to have to be very intentional about that in the future, because that's really hard, you know.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And like masturbation almost doesn't cut it, just because like it just doesn't feel the way that it does with him. Obviously, like there's just so much more like emotional, you know, connection and all of that. And so like when I'm back to just like wanking by myself, then I'm just kind of like, I don't really care about porn, or I don't really care about like, you know, the orgasm. Like it just kind of feels like, I don't know, not the same. Anyways, it's been really eye-opening. I'm excited to go back. I can't wait, obviously, because I can't wait to see him. That's really more than anything. We have made some really fun plans, and yeah, it's just, this is the first time I've done something like this that's like to this level. And I'm 31. No. You know, we just turned 31. Anyways, I'm 31 now, so it's like to experience this. I feel very equipped for it just because of my experience in relationships. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that like it isn't hard. You know, my first marriage was pretty much long distance, you know, half the time. My ex had to go, you know, fly for work a lot. When we first started dating, we were only really together for like maybe the first few months, and then he had to go live somewhere else. So I drove every weekend to go visit him at, you know, where he was doing all his flight training and whatnot. So it's like, that was long distance, but that was only like, that was a 2-hour car ride away, you know? So if you're really desperate, if you really want to see them, you can make that 2-hour drive and it's fine. No, I have to book a flight to Italy. There's usually at least one stop involved. It's $1,000, and it's just, it looks very different. But like I said, I'm happy to do it. He is worth it to me. He is like worth the effort and the distance and all of that. And like, I know that it just, in a lot of ways, I feel like it makes kind of that like new relationship energy almost, I don't know about last longer, but like you kind of almost like savor it a little bit more when we're together, you know, because we don't get to have it all the time. Instead, it's just like when we're together, which is like, you know, every other month and a half ish, give or take. So it makes the time together feel really special. But I do look forward to like, you know, when long distance won't be the case. it's not sustainable. I remember though, before I went, one of our friends.
Well, sometimes it is sustainable. I mean, it just depends on the couple.
It depends on the you're
like,
right.
We know a couple that's been long distance and for 7 years.
Who?
They were at our birthday party.
Guys, you've heard us talk about Popstar before. Bigger loads, better tasting cum, all around a great supplement. But honestly, I was looking at the back of this of this bottle, and 50 milligrams of zinc and 4 milligrams of copper. This is practically
is really going to help you.
Your immune system is going to be great. So not only are you going to be getting bigger loads and having tastier cum for your girl, but you are also going
your
to
immune system's going to be boosted.
boosted. So
loads and immunity be boosted.
So yeah, I honestly think that's just such a great feature. I was like just looking at the back of the bottle out of curiosity, and I was like, oh wow, a lot of zinc and copper up in here. So
which is great for the fall season. It's cuffing season and cold season. So you're going to need zinc and you're going to need bigger loads for all that sexy time you're about to be having in Cabin in the Woods.
So get you some Popstar. And of course, we have a code for you.
Yes. Go to popstarlabs.com/DTFam and use code DTFam for extra 20% off your order. Again, that's Popstar Labs. Yep, popstarlabs.com/DTFam. Use code DTFam for 20% off.
Oh, really?
He lives in Indianapolis. She lives in LA.
I didn't know that.
Yes. They're super long distance. They've been long distance for like 7 years.
Good for them.
It's in several states apart. It's like East Coast, West Coast situation. But for them, it works. They're 1 week on, 1 week off.
That's nice. And that's probably a little bit easier to do, the 1 week on, 1 week off.
Mm-hmm.
1 month on, 1 month off can get the halfway point is always like the most like brutal part.
Yeah, I bet. I guess like that's the thing with long distance relationships is I feel like you were talking, like I definitely feel like there needs to be an end in sight.
Unless you do want to make it work long term, like this couple that you're mentioning, that's true. It really depends on like what works for you. Because, you know, some people like a little bit of distance. You know,
some people like the space.
Some people like a little bit of alone time, and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's one thing that I like about, like, for example, with me and my boyfriend, and similar to like you and your boo, is that like we live similar lifestyles, right? Where it's like we prioritize gym, hobbies, outside time, you know, work schedules, relatively the same, things like that, you know. So then it's like for example, with me and my dude, we're usually like 3.5, 4 days on, and then like 3.5, 4 days off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
And that's nice. And if you really wanted to, you can drive down to go see him, or he can drive up. Like,
yeah,
you know.
But I mean, like, what I like is like, you know, we'll spend our weekends together, and then during the week, it's like we get our shit done. We go to the gym, blah, blah, blah. And then back to the weekends, we have our fun, still go to the gym. Maybe we'll do some of our hobbies together. He introduced me to golf. I love golf now. You know, but it's nice that when the time that we're apart, like we have our things that keep us busy.
Yeah.
And, you know, so then it's not like I'm sitting here like pining all the time.
I mean, I have plenty to keep me busy here, and we've always had busy lives here in LA. So it's not about that, but I guess like sometimes like, you know, especially like when your boo comes over and you two are, you know, in the kitchen making breakfast together, like enjoying each other's company. And I'm just like, you know, I miss that.
Yeah.
I miss him. Or sometimes like I just want a hug and I wish he was there to give me a hug. Or sometimes like I'm just having a really bad day and I just, you know, it would be nice to get some cuddles and just have some reassurance. And I will say though, I feel like at least like we've gotten very good at like a routine, which makes it good at like at least for me, like the routine aspect of it is nice because then I know like, okay, I'm gonna like get to talk to him this time, since we are 9 hours apart. Like when I go to sleep, he's at work, which is at least nice, but then when he goes to sleep, it's like the middle of my day, which is nice too because then I get to like, you know, do some editing, do some work stuff, whatever I need to do, go walk the dogs, feed all the pets, cook dinner, everything. And then by the time I'm going to bed, he's waking up and we get to talk again. So like we have like a good routine established, which I think is also very important. So like I know when I'm going to hear from him, and like and I mean, for the most part, we FaceTime about 3 times a day. And so sometimes we get to talk for, you know, a good chunk of time, an hour or two. Other times it's just like a quick, like, you know, he's rushing into work, but at least he's giving me a quick call before or whatever. Or, you know, I'm about to fall asleep, but talk to him for just a minute or a little bit before I go to bed, things like that. So the routine has been nice.
I think that's what you need if you're that long distance, is a routine.
Yeah. Something just to like keep things consistent. And yeah.
But you guys, after next year, so 2026, you won't be long distance. That's exciting.
No, it is. And I mean,
I'm hoping my boo and I are no longer long distance after like 6 months.
Yeah.
So
that would be nice. I mean, at the end of the day, this is my choice, and like I said, I'm more than happy to do it. It has been eye-opening in a lot of ways, and I think it's been really good at like teaching me like how to self-regulate too, you know, because sometimes it's like, okay, I can't rely on my partner to do this or help me in this, so like I need to do it for myself. But it's also really great times when like I need reassurance and I need, you know, just like a little bit of extra care, comfort, sensitivity, whatever, and I can ask for it and he gives it to me like without any hesitation. He is just an all-around stand-up man. Like, yeah, he's phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about him. But yeah, 14 hours apart, it's pretty nuts. Sometimes I look at a map and I'm like, oh wow, there is an ocean and like multiple countries in between. You know, it's not, you know, yeah, it's interesting. And this upcoming trip, I'm excited. We have some other fun things planned. I do have 2 really good friends that live in Italy as well. And actually one of my cousins, I guess now, is staying there too. So I'm excited that like I get to see these 2 friends a little bit more regularly when I go visit him as well, because they're there and they feel like they're 2 friends that feel like family to me. So for them to be so close is like really great and really kind of like almost stabilizing as well. And then I'm hoping this coming time, I get to meet up with my cousin who I haven't seen in like 2-3 years. So I think that'll be really great. But also like traveling within Europe is so cheap, and well, relatively cheap depending on the season. But you know, you can get some flights. I think we booked a return flight from London. It was $18.
wow.
Yeah, but then I had to buy a carry-on, which was $40. So, I mean, but still, the flight in total was like $70.
That's pretty great.
It was on, I mean, it's like the Spirit Airlines of Europe. It's a EasyJet, I think it is. But for a quick 2-hour flight, like, it's not bad.
Yeah.
And I think they're actually maybe slightly better than Spirit. I don't know. I hold Spirit stock, and it's like tanking right now. So maybe I shouldn't talk shit about the company I'm a stockholder in.
Let it go well.
I hope that stock recovers. My Delta stock is doing great, but not my freaking Spirit. There was a reason for that. Anyways, it's escaping me right now. But yeah, so I don't know if any of you guys have done long distance. And honestly, if you have done long distance for a significant amount of time, like I would love to hear about it. Send in your stories. You know, we love to hear them.
I was going to say, what other advice do you have?
Well, I remember before I left for Italy, we were in New York, and one of my friends was talking to me, and she was like, her and her husband did long distance for like 4 or 5 years while they were both in college.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and she said, I was like, well, what's the longest that you guys spent apart? And she was like, well, when I was studying abroad for 6 months, we didn't see each other at all. And I'm like, 6 months is a long fucking time. I think you need to know your limits of like how long you can go without seeing someone realistically. And like, and if you can both like sustain that. I think that would be one of my biggest things. For her, she said it was fine. They went to 6 months, but most of the time they went like maybe 2 to 3 months without seeing each other, which for me, I thought that was a lot too. For them, she said it was great. They'd see each other every 2 to 3 months. It was fine. They did that for 4 or 5 years. Now they're married. They live together. Obviously, you know,
that is commitment.
And that's what I'm saying. Long distance relationships, like, it is commitment. It really is, because it just takes a lot of freaking like work to be able to do that. But you know, they're happily married now. They have been for years or living together for years. I think they've been married over a year. I can't remember. Anyways, so it's, yeah, I mean, it can definitely work out, I think. But yeah, knowing your limitations of how long you can realistically go, because like when him and I are planning when we're going to see each other, like 5 weeks is about my max. I do not want to go more than 5 weeks. Or 5 to 6 weeks. I think 6 weeks was what we did the first time before I went to go visit him. And then this time it's been about 5 weeks. And so that is my upper limit for sure. Granted, you know, when my ex-husband used to deploy, like I would go 3 months without seeing him. That was a lot. Granted, those were a little bit different circumstances. He had to go. So I'm like, I know I can do longer, but like if we're doing it based off of choice and not necessity, I don't want to do more than 5 to 6 weeks. And then it's like, can you accommodate that? Can you accommodate your upper limit?
I mean, I remember the most I went with my ex-fiance was 5 months. That was a lot.
That was a lot.
But that was at like year 4 of dating.
Yeah.
Which like for me right now, I'm at the position where it's like, I cannot do more than like a week or 2 apart because my anxiousness in the sense of that, like, we're still
establishing a foundation.
Yeah, we're still establishing a foundation. So for me, like, I don't want to say it's like, oh, it's like too new. It's not. We've been together for like 2 months. But in the sense of that, like, I get anxious the longer we're apart since it's newer, since we're still establishing a foundation. I'm sure later on, you know, when we've had like a year or so under our belt or whatever, like, you know, if we're apart for 2 weeks because of like, I don't know, a trip or something like that, like, I'm not going to be as like anxious, I guess.
I know that we talk about that too. We're like, okay, maybe it'll get easier with time, or maybe at least like, yeah, we'll have more of a foundation. So like, you know, there's more like stability and like just kind of like proving and showing that commitment, all of that. So I think those things can help and time can help. And that's why, like, when I look at our friend who did that, you know, that maybe that's why, you know, after 4 or 5 years, like they were, you know, it was not 4 or 5 years was not a problem because, you know, once they started getting more and more time under their belt, like it just made it easier. I don't know. But another thing I was going to say, if you're going to enter a long distance relationship and you're going to put that much like time and effort into it, like I remember like the first probably week or 2 of him and I talking, we literally like laid out, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because like you cannot go into something like that where you're putting that much time, effort, and, you know, work into it only to find out 3 months later you're not aligned in something, or, you know, there's something that like is a bit of a deal breaker that is suddenly coming up. Like you cannot do that. So like we went down like the laundry list of like, you know, things that we want in the future, things from our past, blah, 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 like things in the present, like all of that, just to like make sure, okay, you know, yes, I can live with that. No, that is not something, you know, like whatever it may be. And I think that's kind of like what really kind of helped us into the commitment, is that like we laid it all out and it felt very, you know, like vulnerable and all of that. And we were able to look at it and be like, yeah, I still choose you. And the other person do the same. So then you're like, dope. Okay. Like I feel like I can present myself as I am completely, honestly, wholeheartedly, and you accept me for that. So
yeah.
So that is my life currently. And it's interesting because people are always like, well, what are you doing with the pod? Luckily we have the ability to record basically like I record everything, and then as I'm there, just edit and put it out and get everything taken care of. And like So that means that we record like our episodes, our, ad sponsor stuff, any social media stuff that we have to do for any other sponsors, everything, all of that. We do it on the front end. And then while I'm there, I edit and release it, and we stick to that schedule. So I am very grateful to have something like this where I have the freedom and ability to do it pretty much from anywhere. So
yeah, I'm glad the laptop's working out for you.
yeah, here I edit on a desktop. I have a Mac that I edit on, and then I took a laptop there that I record or that I edit on. So then I have one here and I have one there, and I can edit between the two, and it's really easy as long as I take the drives with me. That's all I need. Nice. So yeah. If anyone was wondering what that's like, that's what it's like.
Woo.
I feel like I'm going to have to continue working on my relationship with masturbation, and just like the touch depravity, is that the right word? Like going from one to the other, kind of like it's a big change for my body. So I feel like I'm going to have to figure out how to get better at that. And I hope that will come with time. One thing I told him, literally, I was like, next time I'm there, I want you to put on a hoodie, go run like 3 miles, get as sweaty as you possibly can in this hoodie. Don't wash it. Put it in a bag, and I'm going to take that home. And every single time, I love the way he smells. Like when he's done sweating.
I get that.
When he's done sweating,
I'll lick my boyfriend.
I've licked him entirely, like head to toe.
We'll finish up at the gym, and I'm like, come here.
Yeah, his sweat tastes so fucking good. And
I swear, because my boyfriend and I talk about that. It's like the pheromones when you're like chemically attracted to someone and like aligned.
yes.
It's like it almost stops like the bad smells from going through. Because it's like we'll wake up in the morning, full retainers and mouth guards in, just, bang it out. And it's like I don't notice his breath. He doesn't notice mine.
Same. I mean, or at least like I know for me that's the case. I think no, but I love the way he smells, like naturally, like his sweat, and his piss too. Anyways, so yeah, I told him, get as sweaty as you can in a hoodie. Let me take it home, and then next time, anytime I'm missing him, I'm just gonna put that hoodie on, smell his scent, and maybe that'll help me feel better.
I was gonna say, bring some of his clothes back for you.
I know,
that's what my boyfriend and I do. Is like I leave some of my stuff at his place, and he leaves some stuff at my place. It makes it easier for traveling. Like I already have some of my shit there, so I don't have to carry it with me back and forth. But also just like, I have a bunch of pairs of like his boxers or something. When I'm missing him, I'm like, I want to put on his boxers, like. No,
and that's what I wish I had remembered to do before I left. But I did leave some of my clothes and stuff there.
What'd you leave?
So I left my summer Louis bag.
Oh. Okay.
I left one of my heavy manners swimsuits. I left a few, like a dress, some shorts.
Nothing that I would use too, right?
No, all my things.
Okay.
I left 2 pairs of sweatpants. Like I left some clothes there. And then, I told him, I'm like, I would love to take home like anything that you're not like totally married to, that you wear on a daily basis, but like maybe a hoodie that like you can part ways with for a month while I bring it home with me, and get it as,
So guys, if you're in a long distance relationship, that's some advice we have for you. Establish a schedule, constant and clear communication, but take some of each other's shit so you have it.
Lay it all out before you get started. This is not an easy road to take, so make sure you're as transparent as possible about everything.
And figure out your future goal. How long will you be long distance? What is going to be your plan?
And figure out your limits. What is your upper limit of time apart? Can that be accommodated? What does that look like? I think with the right person, it's going to be worth it. And like I said, with him, it is 1,000% worth it.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks guys for tuning in. We will see you next week.
Yep. Don't forget, wear condoms. Check out our link tree for all of our relevant links, doubleteampodcast.com. Write us a 5-star review, please. We need more of those. And tell a friend about us because we want more listeners. But also, if you are shopping for the holiday season, don't forget We do have brands and promo codes that we work with and that you can use. So head on over to our link tree and you'll see our all of our codes in one spot, or go to linktree.com/doubleteamedads, which if you read it fast, it looks like it says double team dads. I think that's hilarious. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. See y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.